You can't resist. Just get it over with.
Good morning.
Just scream it out, Tade. You know you want to.
There's only a few people I scream for. You're not one of them.
The following live stream is intended for fuck all y'all.
Right at
Alistair
that,
beats you
no
to
one
it.
cares.
So I heard
Following.
even you.
I heard.
So the following live stream is indicative of how most tabletop RPGs are played. There's a lot of swearing, maybe some drinking, possibly some eating. We don't know what's going to happen. So if you have a problem with it, this is not the show for you.
Ted, getting more alcohol?
Not as much as I had yesterday.
Well, considering you were, just shit drunk yesterday.
You would have bombed.
Dude, you got killed in STO and almost had a heart attack, okay?
Still don't know what happened there. I've never had a major emotional response to my ship exploding. Probably because it happens all the time.
Yeah, I heard y'all got messed up the other day.
Sailor Moon whooped our ass.
Yeah. No lie, the one and only Sailor Moon of Star Trek Online proceeded to show us the error of our ways and punished us by destroying us multiple times.
In the name of the moon.
I don't know if it was the name of the moon, but it certainly blew the shit out of us.
That's what y'all get for talking up Tade's ship on the air.
I thought it was the name of the sailor.
I'm confused. Sailor Moon's kind of a pussy and doesn't really kick much ass, so...
That's what Sailor Uranus and Neptune are for.
Right.
Apparently, Sailor Moon of Stowe is a different matter.
She apparently had to toughen up.
Fucking weebs.
She's not about doing DPS. She's just about controlling everything around her and crushing it. So we did have another round today where we went and did a Zenkethy run, and she didn't do bad by any means. She actually did really well.
Well, her hull never dropped at all. That's the thing.
That's not true. I watched it.
I had to save her at the very end there.
Oh, and I
saved her
did
once in a while.
learn another thing. She's probably using, what is it? Failsafe Scrambler? Because that was something I was thinking, because every single time when we did the first round against her, every time we'd get her down to about 50% hull, she'd suddenly vanish. So it's got to be Failsafe Scrambler.
Well, considering that the Zenkethy have the means to basically negate damage, because they're like, nope. The fact that she still did some damage was impressive.
Yeah, the fact that she was doing 1 damage per hit when everybody else was getting immune, that's saying something.
So, Tade, has she sent you back to the drawing board?
No, not really.
Not what I heard.
Because I know exactly what she was doing. It's the one thing that literally hardly anybody should build can stop.
Can we focus?
No.
Well, anyway. So
What
Harstall
do
has
you-
arrived, and he gave you, the speech, whatever.
And
you guys
then
were talking.
and then gave us a who the hell are you?
Essentially, yes.
Also, the title of this stream is Big Damn Heroes question mark?
I approve.
So I has a croissant with Nutella.
I got
Did you
ravioli.
say Nutella?
Yep, Nutella. I put Nutella on a
Fucking
croissant.
hipster.
It's actually really good.
Never had Nutella.
It's pretty good.
Kev's a hipster.
Have you seen his pictures?
I know.
If anything, he looks like he came from a grunge band from the 90s.
We all came from a grunge band in the 90s.
No.
No.
Just you.
I came from a big hair band in the 80s.
I see what you did there. Anyway. So, what are you guys doing now that you got Harsol and his battle droids and whatnots there?
Well, as I recall, the last thing that popped up was, well, he said, "Who are we?" And we explained. We were sent by the son or grandson of his partner to retrieve technology and find these survivors.
At that moment, Yav, who you still have alive nearby, pipes up. No, we were hired to find the survivors and any technology. These people are just trying to find you and send you back to the Empire.
I will blow you up. You do not talk.
Harsel kind of looks at the tied up Yav and then looks at you guys.
I can solve the question you're about to ask before you even ask it. Why don't you ask your droid who's tried to steal him?
Very well. And he turns to IT 3PO. So explain, IT, what happened? Oh, sir. These fine fellows had actually saved me from. And he points over at Yav. Saved me from that disreputable scum. I don't know. I was trying to be all proper, and I lost it at the scum part.
You usually do lose being proper when you become scum.
Anyway, I was actually sent by. Shit, I forgot his name.
Scoundrels.
It's like-
that works.
Baron or Buren or something? It starts with a B.
Give me a sec. The bad thing with going off a PDF is that sometimes it takes a moment to load. Oh, Riam.
Huh, I thought it started with a B.
Way to suck.
Actually, just a side note, mostly for me and Tank. Did you notice that Crimson Blade has exactly 666 likes?
I did not notice that.
Mm-hmm.
We should fix that.
Fix
Anyway.
it so that it never gets any higher or lower? Yeah, that sounds good.
Yes.
You're not helping.
Well,
I
was-
think you
or we
had
could
me
just wait until
confused
it
with
gets
someone who was supposed to.
1337 likes.
Anyway,
I was actually going to be sent by my new master, Riam, to go find you. We had finally gotten your message from your probe. Your message probe, and they were sending a team to go find you. When this group tried to steal me, and these fine people saved me from them. Harsol looks back to Yav, and now he's definitely got a harder look to his eyes, which is impressive considering that he already looks pretty hard bitten. And Yav tries to make up for it. This is not true. Look at me. I'm tied up here. What could I possibly have done?
I point my pistol at him.
Harsol just kind of looks at him. IT doesn't lie. That's just not in his nature. He's not programmed for such things. So, yeah, I don't believe you at all. However, and now he looks at you guys, I'm still a little curious about why you're here. I know you say that you're here just to find survivors.
well, to be perfectly honest, survivors weren't really mentioned. Weren't really
Yeah, not really.
part of the deal. They were supposed to come and salvage technology. One of the reasons we were salvaging the ship. Then, as we brought this over here, we noticed your camp. Which is why once we finished up here, we were going to go looking for you, and you beat us to that punch. Because while we weren't hired to bring back any survivors, we aren't exactly heartless bastards. Well, most of us. The Severthian. or however that's pronounced, fucking, can occasionally lack a cardiovascular system.
He now looks back to IT. So tell me what happened to Ropak. Oh, sir, it was a terrible thing. The Empire got a hold of him. And unfortunately, as far as we know, he did not speak, but he also did not survive the encounter. So he looks back to you guys. And so Riam sent you to find technology.
Yes,
That's the long and short of it.
that's essentially the long and the short of it. But,
Okay,
like I said, once we realized there was potentially people only alive here, our priorities shifted.
Make a charm check.
That's persuasion.
Let's see. In order, it's opposed, so
All of us? Or just him?
Is it persuasion, or could I use coercion? I'm not really
It's charm.
coercing, so.
specifically charm.
Oh, I didn't even know charm was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we can charm, coerce, and persuade. That's interesting.
There's no persuade.
Oh, it's perception. Never mind. I'm brain no
Other
work.
games.
Recall. This is gonna suck because I got nothing in charm. I'm not a charming person.
You can all make the roll if you
Don't
wish.
say.
That what? Why do you think that one time I was negotiating with was it? God, Adam's character. I had Erica, Axty. I had Erica in a slave outfit.
What are we rolling against?
You're gonna roll against his cool, which is 4, so that's gonna be your difficulty level.
So 4 difficulty die.
Yep.
This is not happening here. It's 4 difficulty, 1 ability. I failed horribly. I don't think you're going to be doing any negotiating, but if you feel like the need to...
You're gonna have the
I
asshole
actually got a
astromech
success.
Who got a success?
I did.
Quick! Come to the front of the group.
I will.
I got a success too.
You can't spell success without suck.
Oh god, Kev. The memes do not need to proceed.
So he kind of looks at each and every one of you. In Argon's case, he's definitely a bit suspicious of. In the case of asshole astromech, he's equally suspicious, but it might be because this is definitely an ancient astromech, and he's like, "What the hell is that doing here?" But when he looks to Kev or whatever
Norin.
your character's
Norin.
name is, yeah, Norin, he can see that he's very much into technology and such. The cybernetics kind of gives it away, and he seems to be more inclined to, to accept what you guys are saying, and the fact that Nilian there with not Nilian, Daish, it keeps on pointing a weapon at Yav, also seems to help. Erica, he's not sure what to make of her. He's neither against nor for her. He's probably been on this jungle moon too long.
Excellent.
That said, you guys will get a bonus die with your association from Riam now. So he's leaning more towards that. He seems to accept your story, or at the very least, that's the inclination you get by watching his interactions with you. Finally, he just kind of shakes his head, waves it all off. He's like, "Doesn't matter. Not at this point. We can't have this discussion here. We need to take this back to the base camp. We want you all to follow us on foot. We will take you back to the retreat.
Why on foot?
And because I'm not going to have you ride on, on our riders here. I forgot. I don't know what he's riding. It didn't say.
Argon just kind of like motions around to the 3 starships.
I'm not getting aboard any ships. I don't want to take the chance that you might try to actually take me off this planet and take me to the Empire anyway.
You don't even know what the Empire is.
Oh, we know what the Empire is. Trust me.
You've been on this planet for like ever.
Son, the Empire was just coming into being at the end of the Clone Wars. Why do you think we ran?
All right. We'll
But
go
I'm
on.
not gonna-
We'll go on foot. But at least one of the ships can follow.
Whoa, what the hell?
Not what
That's
intended
not
to
what I
happen.
wanted to do.
Well, that proved Raggy.
Okay, why can't I move the ship here? Oh, there we go.
Was locked, I guess.
Well, I was trying to unlock it. Well, I'm not going to have you go up there completely defenseless. You can take the Revos here.
The what?
They're called a Revos.
The creatures?
Give me a second. So I'm going to see if they explain what they were. I forgot. Our
Looks-
Revos will guide you up there.
Looks like something happened that crossed Strogg from Quake and Tyranids from friggin' Warhammer.
Okay.
Don't worry. You can just follow along. They will guide you and protect you from any other creatures in the jungle.
I didn't necessarily mean we would fly in a ship when I said a ship could follow. I literally have the ship designed to escort me on foot.
There's no place for your ship to land in the retreat or outside the retreat.
Argon,
Don't worry.
Argon
not
is
far.
just like, nope. But alright.
By the way, I'm making sure to leave the Nexu on the ship because it might raise suspicions if I take it along.
Yeah, Argon is actually going to raise one question now. It's like, by the way, were the Nexu you're doing?
He conspicuously does not answer.
I would take that as a yes.
Alright, guys, I'm jumping off of here.
As a matter of fact, he turns away
User disconnected from your channel.
and clambers back aboard the creature, whatever they rode in on. The droids are still aboard. These Revos, though, they jump down and approach you, and then start walking along. It's right now. It's just the lake shore, while the Harsel and the three creatures that they rode in started heading back into the lake and starting to head north.
Argon informs the Risos that they're going to grab some supplies for the trek before they should leave, so they should probably slow the Criff down.
The Revos stop instantly.
Right back.
Are these like battle droids, or because you mentioned modified battle droids? Are these actual creatures?
I know they mentioned something in here before, but I'm not seeing it right now. Yeah, they're just not saying anything. I'm going to presume it's some kind of modified creature. So you're getting stuff out of your ships.
Well, somebody is. Argon's gonna just busy typing away at his Riscom.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure I should make sure to leave the Nexu on the ship, because I'm not sure if they'll take too kindly to seeing that I have it as my pet now. Because if it was like some sort of disaster that ended up attacking them and they fled from, they'd be terrified of it. If they somehow were still using them and it's their property, they'd be pissed that I stole from them.
All right, and what's the rest of you guys doing? It's like, how many are going? How many are staying?
Do we have any extra rockets on the ship, or probably not?
The rockets you have are what you got.
I thought so. Then I'm just gonna stay here.
Yeah, recommend Deesh stay here, guard the
I'll probably
ships.
stay with the Nexu.
Deesh should stay here, guard the ships, and our prisoner Norin, I want you to come with us because you're familiar
Okay.
with cybernetics.
Okay, I'll do that then.
Erica will do whatever Erica wants, because Erica always does what Erica wants.
Do you need the prisoner alive when you get back?
Alive, yes. Unmaimed, not necessarily. What happens while I'm not present to witness it is not my fault.
Does the terrain look droid friendly?
I ain't
Yes.
carrying you.
I mean, it's along a river. So I mean, it's not necessarily anti-droid friendly, but it's not going to be easy. But still, I mean, it should be passable.
Should I stay in case you need a quick pickup in a ship?
Yes.
That's probably not a bad idea.
I'll stay with the ships then.
Because, I mean, there's only 3 of us that are pilots, right?
Technically,
I
a lot of us are.
I think it's you, Argon, and Roland's character. I think are pilots. Technically, yeah, Asphalt Astromech's a pilot.
Yeah, but I mean, Asshole's a better pilot than Roland's Wookiee is, right?
I don't know.
Well, you saw what happened last time, so
Yeah, but I should be familiarized with the controls now, shouldn't I?
Well, yes, but all the same. It depends on what the dice decide to do to you. Assuming that that's what comes up. But anyway.
So
I'll fly the ship. It'll be fine.
I was looking up, a picture of the Revos, although you can't find one. And I learned that there's a new ship in this module called the Skywatcher class scout ship. So I googled pictures of it. I don't think that's accurate.
Nope.
Something about it seems familiar.
Smells a bit fishy.
What is the ship called?
I found an actual picture of it, but that showed up in the Google search that I did.
Seems a little waterlogged.
But as for an actual picture of it, that what Adam Kopp did does appear to be accurate to the canon. Because I also see deck plans that match that shape.
Oh, sweet.
It's like a giant TIE freighter.
I was going to say Scimitar Assault Bomber.
Oh wait, Kian. Yeah, what are you doing? You were in the closet the whole time.
Stoned out your mind, by the way.
Because that's how you were trying to deal with sleep, trying to sleep at night with the sounds of, jungle creatures.
By the way, Tade, we're sorry for putting you back in the closet.
No,
I
we're
got up
not.
there more than I care to admit.
It's okay. The Wookiee took your spot.
I'm going to kill that Wookiee.
So, guys, what's Kian doing?
He's my bodyguard. You can come out of the closet. I hired you to be security.
I'm coming out. I want the world to know.
So, is Erica staying behind, or?
Well, no. If the droid's staying behind, I'll go with. Just somebody's got to fly the ships.
He sighs every time I sing that. You think
I
you'd
sigh
understand this, but I'm
anytime
gonna do it every
anyone
time.
sings anything.
He sighs anytime anyone does anything. It doesn't matter what they do.
So is that what he does in bed?
Sure, why not? I wouldn't know.
Yeah,
It
no
fucking
one.
reminds me of a conversation I was having at work yesterday. They were going around like, fuck you, and he's like, I'd just lie there and you wouldn't like it.
Oh my. Alright, so you guys, the four of you are going to follow the Revos.
Hi ho. Hi ho.
Alright, so you got two of the Revos are up front. We'll just say one knocks the shit out of Norin.
What?
That's why the
Oh,
Revos
no.
knocked the shit out of you, because you weren't paying attention. And you follow along the river.
No.
I don't think you were actually knocked out.
I hope so. So some
Norin falls into the
cyborg
river.
freak.
Trust me, if you were knocked out, everybody was about to be knocked out.
Anyway, one of the
And
things
yes, Trekkie, we do.
Oh, good.
One of the things you notice, though, as you're walking along, and you do see Harsol and his riding creatures are not far away. They're keeping a close eye. Is that there are definitely other creatures that are in this jungle.
Man, we wouldn't have been
However-
able to guess from last night.
Yeah, the difference here is that you actually can see them. It's just that the moment they see you, they make a break for it. There's like large creatures that are in the water that suddenly dive. And one thing that you didn't see last time, or during the day yesterday, when you had landed, because you got lucky, was that you see these, looks like vines hanging down the trees, suddenly rolling back up into the trees.
Snicks.
No. You can try to do make it like a knowledge check if you want to, if you know what they are, to figure out if you know what they are.
What, xenology?
Or Outer
Hmm,
Rim.
Probably Outer Rim. I mean, take your pick on which one you think would be the most appropriate.
Okay, how hard?
I'm going to say that's a 3.
I'll do it too.
Alright, I'm gonna roll now.
So 3 difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
And what are we checking again?
Just to see, you know, what the creature is that suddenly rolled up into the trees.
We don't know what it is, but we don't like it.
So it's Outer Rim.
Outer Rim or
Outer Rim.
Xenology, whichever you think is appropriate.
Well, damn.
None of us know what it is.
I haven't rolled yet.
And I had the odds in my favor too.
Nope.
The odds are not in
Alistair,
your
check
favor.
your messages.
In Kian's case, he knows so little about what that is. He's just like, oh shit,
That's a thing.
that vine was alive.
It's a trash panda.
It's a trash panda.
Yes.
Pretty
Yeah,
sure Rocket would kick your ass for that.
I love the fact that every single one of you got a thread out of that. So yeah, you definitely don't like what the hell that is.
Alright, let's eat trash and get hit by a car.
One of the things you do notice, though, as you know, you see these things roll up every time that you get near them, is that some of them had some, like, were holding fish. So clearly, these things were, you know, trying to get a meal in the morning here. But they don't want to mess with you guys.
The Revos
rather-
talk.
Rather, they don't want to mess with the Revos. And no, they do not.
Yeah, I'm not finding anything about what the Revos look like. Other than they're amphibious.
Yeah, you.
Which I don't know that in game.
Yeah, outside of the game, it's like you guys don't want to fight these things. But that's neither here nor there. So, you guys just kind of continue following along?
Yeah, but I'm gonna keep an eye out. I'm gonna be
Okay.
cautious, because, yeah, so that's going to be diligence, I think. No, we don't have diligence.
Nope, not in this game.
Vigilance, that's what it is. I should probably clear my dice first.
Yep, you're just following along. I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Just in case.
Yep, you just kind of follow along, and it does take you a while. About 30 minutes or so of traveling along the river.
How many wounds and strained are repaired in that time?
Within 30 minutes, I think natural healing was something like in an hour.
Yeah, it's every hour.
Well, we gotta add in the conversation.
Well, from the time that they showed up to the time that you guys were walking, I'd say that probably took you about an hour total.
So 1. Or did I reset the max?
How many did you have?
I'm down 4 wounds and down 2 strain.
Well, we know wounds recover.
Wait, are they doing a thing for Doctor? They are not going to do a thing.
They're doing a thing!
Oh, if they do a thing, I'm going to fucking flip my shit.
What thing do you think they're doing?
I haven't seen the episode yet, but I think he might be regenerating back into the look of the first Doctor.
No, anyway. Wounds are what heal within an hour. Strain, I can't remember, but I think it's on the same principle.
Mm-hmm.
So you pretty much would just gain 1 back each. And that goes for anybody who was wounded. Nilian is your character as well.
I've got a strain from 3 weeks ago.
I'm sure that one's well recovered by this point. You
Need
should
a
be at full because you
restraining
didn't
order.
fight. Yeah, you weren't in combat. You're fully healed and whatnot. And Wolfie, I'm honestly not sure what it is you're referring to. So you'll have to get me some more clarification.
Alistair said
Do
there's a
you
broken
recall
remote.
the very first session we had, and I confused a Wookiee for an entire day with a bunch of broken remotes?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So there are broken remotes on the ship.
Because you did it as a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sure. Knock yourself out. Mechanics check. And I'm going to presume it's just a remote. I'm going to say that's just 2 difficulty. Anyway, you can roll that and we can, in the meantime, the rest of the folks will carry on.
Also, I just found this tank. I think I know what it is. Obviously, I don't know what it is in game, but it might be useful for you.
Someone just had a good roll.
Somewhat.
Well, I did get a triumph.
You are now intimately familiar with the remotes.
Now, I'm a droid. That could have a weird connotation.
Somewhere in the distance, Norin snickers.
Well, you didn't fix it. So, but you do have a bonus to your next attempt. All right, so the rest of you guys that are been traveling up there are, you see kind of as there's a break in the trees, you'll see that the retreat is located along the east fork on a rocky bluff that towers like many meters above you. In front of the bluffs, though, is a wide cleared area. So Parcel's clearly full of shit.
Huh. Can't land a ship my ass.
A formidable wall made of tree trunks and starship hull plating curves outward towards you, with 2 tall sentry towers evenly spaced across its length.
Note to self: more spare parts.
Yeah, yo.
And the entire retreat is built into an enormous alcove in the bluff.
Also, note to self: concussion blast.
That could be bad.
Like I said, Argon is being very vigilant all of a sudden.
Well, from his position on his mount, Captain Harsol guides you towards one of the 2 large gates. And one of the things I keep forgetting is that every time that I try to scroll down on my PDF, if I was in the game, it'll scroll me back, zoom me out at the same time.
It is the eye of God.
So, you guys walk in. You're entering through one of the gates, and Harsel has hopped down off of his mount, and so has his other, companions, if you can call clanking B1 battle droids companions.
One of my longest running companions is an astromech. Of course, I can call them companions.
These guys are a little ragged.
Roger. Jer.
Well,
No, it's more
Lauren
like
has a cybernetic erotica fetish. She can definitely call them companions.
You shut up, boy.
Bird.
I think it's more a case that, you have one that goes Roger, Roger, one goes Roger, Sarah, and the other one goes Roger.
Hi. Y'all got new orders for me? Should I link the thing that I linked you, Dank?
Not yet.
Okay. But I was right about what it is, I think.
I think so. It doesn't seem to match exactly with what's in the PDF, but it's close enough that it'll work. Anyway, so Harsel will lead you in, and you already see that there's a crowd of people that kind of poking their heads out from wherever and kind of watching along.
Good thing we suddenly got a lot more starships.
Harsel pauses, and he directs you towards a large metal and wood building, which is crafted from salvaged and local materials, just like the perimeter wall. This crowd, you'll notice that there's about 30 survivors and a few droids that mostly were in the way, but they slowly part in front of you as the captain waves you guys to go inside. You notice also that they're all dressed in patchwork clothing and primitive skins, clearly made there on the planet. Only a few of them will actually wear remnants of their old clothing. As you pass the crowd, you hear the expected questions and whispers of curiosity. Are they here to save us? Who are they? Things like that. And just as you and the captain reach the door, someone yells out, "Soul, Harsel, why aren't they dead yet? Have you gone soft?" Captain Harsel pauses to turn on his heel, firing back, "Could be things are changing for the better around here. Tell Kratala to get over here, and we'll all find out together. The rest of you follow us inside."
Argon hits his wrist comp. Just hits it, against his side so it doesn't look, suspicious at all. He's been stacking vigilance here.
Don't think those buffs stack. You can show them drop the link to the map for them. I don't think it's going to matter here because you're inside a building, but go ahead and show them that. The captain leads you into the central room. Enormous tree trunks hold up this 2-story ceiling, which is composed of wood, plating, and the occasional window. Several primitive doors appear to lead to other chambers. Hand-fashioned lamps add to the natural light streaming in through the high windows. Harsel leads all of you up to the stage and indicates you should have a seat on a log as he steps to a podium.
Argon remains standing.
He looks at you and take a seat.
One captain to another, you don't give orders.
On this planet, in this place, I do.
I'm going to stand.
Just quickly reviewing, see if there's anything specific here.
Tank's like, I don't think they planned for this either.
No, it's just a matter of, if it's anything that I need to roll. He just kind of glares at Argon and finally just lets it go. And he waits for the room to fill, and he's also waiting for others to arrive. So we'll kind of set up the scene here. They didn't really give me a good picture here, so I'm just going to kind of half-ass it. Big fuck-off stage.
It's a lot of people.
Those are neat looking B1s.
It's like a bastard combination of a B1, a B2, and a commando droid. Really? Samus?
So I figured out how to import models from
It's
galaxies.
not apparently paying any attention to that now.
By the way, I figured out how to import models from Star Wars galaxies into this game.
Sweet.
Because they have exporter scripts for the meshes. They have one for Max and then one for Blender.
I'll say that you guys probably should all hang together.
Argon's just gonna stand up and say, we probably shouldn't keep our back to everybody. Let's go over the fucking corner, Jesus Christ.
Go ahead, move you guys.
How do I rotate?
You, while holding, you spin your mouse wheel.
How do I know scope?
Get good. Bring it
All
in,
right,
tank.
Hold and I'll spin mouse wheel.
Bring it in.
What am I bringing in?
Get good.
User entered your channel.
And here comes Captain Arthur Owens.
Federation Starship USS Aquarius is being prepared.
Who is going to be playing the role of the gay B1 droid.
Art?
Fuck you and the mustache you rode in on.
I generally don't ride in on mustaches, they chafe.
Go there, Art.
Oh no.
Alright, so everybody, wanders in. And at that moment, Kratalo also enters with a small entourage of her staff and kind of conspicuously eyes and analyzes the newcomers, i.e. you guys, and then takes a seat towards the front.
Can I
Harsel,
throw some serious side shade eye there?
You are eye side shade, dude.
eye side shade?
He's well. Keep in mind what your particular species can do.
Yeah.
You can make everybody other than the droid really like you really quickly.
Preferably those of the female persuasion.
Well, it's been known to work on everybody.
They do have a preference. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so once everyone's settled in, Harsel welcomes everyone in the hall, relates the events as he knows them so far. He points to IT3 and says, a few of you might remember old IT here, the one that was supposed to get my scheme working with Ropak. He's the reason we have guests instead of prisoners tonight. When I saw his homing beacon light up on my old receiver, I thought it was just another malfunction. Well, Neenan spent all night analyzing the unit and signal, and it checked out. Which is actually not true.
What am I looking at here?
This is us playing a tabletop game.
Oh boy.
That's what we're doing right now.
Alright, I'll drop channel.
You don't have to.
No, you can stick here.
Oh, I was gonna play STO.
And
Do I hear Lord of the Rings in the background?
and watch The Hobbit apparently.
Actually, I have some friends over playing Lego Lord of the Rings.
Cool.
Oh God, I'm getting broadcast. Run!
I'm going to back up a couple steps. We checked out the unit and signal, and it checked out. We were analyzing. We spent a long time working on it. I knew we had a new situation here on the ground. Now, if it weren't for this
User left your channel.
welcoming committee here, he motions to the crowd, I would already have questioned these people and announced any good news. At that moment, a voice from the back suddenly interrupts him. Like we trust you. I bet we would never have heard from them again. Wouldn't be the first time. Harsel looks angry for a moment, and his voice takes on an overly defensive tone, almost threatening the survivors. Well, of course it wouldn't be just me. I would have asked Kratala to join us, of course. Just like we always do here in our retreat, right? The crowd grumbles in disagreement, but no one really dares to speak out again.
This doesn't sound suspicious at all, Argan says out loud, not really giving a damn.
Did it answer your question? Harsel remains defensive, but he continues. I know a lot of you don't trust me anymore to keep you safe. I know you don't all agree with me that hiding from the Empire should have been our #1 priority all these years. Well, maybe IT and his friends here have had a way to improve our lot. Maybe even escape this planet and still stay out of an Imperial prison or execution chamber. So let's take a few minutes to ask some questions and see what everyone thinks.
And that's a mirror silence.
No, that was a silence because I was being asked a question again.
For some reason, Footloose just started playing in my head, and holy shit, my phone. It's just now telling me you went live on Twitch. I just now got that email.
Wolfie, to answer your question, what you were doing, you don't pick up anything specific, but you do at least kind of pick up that there is definitely something. There may be some kind of defensive capabilities, but that's about it. And granted, you don't know a whole lot because you don't. All you know is the direction that they went, but you do pick up there's something there. All right. Quickly running down through some of the details here. All right, so Harsel turns to IT3. IT. Actually, let's go ahead and make him do that. IT, how did you find the ship? Oh well, no, I'm sorry, sir. I'm not the one that should tell you about this. I mean, that's really something that my companions here would have a much better ability to tell. Also, I may have been turned off at that time.
He was recharging.
So, please let my companions tell you all about that.
That wasn't an out of character comment. Argan literally goes he was recharging.
I didn't treat it as an out of character comment either.
I didn't know if you were or not.
No, I didn't.
Or
Fine. Harsel now looks to you guys. How did you find the ship?
scanned for large metallic and power signatures. Didn't find much of the latter, but found 2 of the former. They're now currently parked next to each other. That is, after we dealt with the first wave of the Yagar clan.
The crowd basically kind of looks at you with confusion. They don't know who this Yar clan is.
They'll be dead soon. It doesn't matter anyway.
The Yiggyar clan is a group of criminals from the Wheel who attempted to steal IT and come here probably with the sole purpose of taking everything and leaving nothing.
Somebody in the crowd yells out, "How do we know that that's not what you're going to do?"
You're still alive, aren't you?
Mostly what he said.
The crowd just,
Believe me, if we were intending to come here guns a-blazing, we could have come here guns a-blazing.
the crowd kind of looks to each other and is, begrudgingly, all right, that makes sense. They don't trust you immediately, but they certainly, accept your explanation. Yeah, they didn't give me a whole lot to work with for this portion of it, so.
By the way, don't feel bad, Tade. Certain individuals have been private messaging me via Steam. My phone just now went off at all of them. About, 5-10 minutes after I received the messages.
Right.
Kratala then asks, how does the wheel play into this?
What's that guy's name?
Riam.
It's where Riam had an Isotech office set up. And where we were getting parts and equipment when we came in for the job, because we heard someone was looking for a crew. Unfortunately, he neglected to inform us that there were actually probably still survivors, because we thought the message was far too old.
Kratala is looks to Harsol, message? What message? And he kind of waves it off. It's like, when we first were going to crash, we sent out a message pod. In all honesty, didn't expect anybody to respond to it. Now he turns back to you. Okay, then, how about you tell us about the state of the Empire?
Near total galactic domination, except for out here in the Outer Rim and the unknown regions.
It's like they're called that for a reason.
Yeah. Pretty much everything that the Republic and the Confederacy of Independent Systems had is under the Imperial flag. There are pockets of
Sorry, go ahead. I was just making a joke.
There are pockets of resistance, but nothing major. At least nothing cohesive. But the Empire also has a near total control on all forms of media, so finding out if there was anything would be a very, very daunting task. And I don't usually intend to get into anti-imperial or pro-imperial anything, so I tend to just keep my nose clean. And I don't poke at my nose where it doesn't belong. If you'd like, I could simply tie you into the most recent HoloNet newscasts.
You shouldn't bother. There's hardly any connection out here.
I meant the ones that are recorded on my ships.
Everybody make a notice roll.
Perception?
You get the point.
I just want to make sure.
Keeps calling things by other stuff. I get confused.
It's the nature of
Everybody or just the people?
everybody that's there.
Are we rolling against the difficulty or just roll?
Asshole Astromech astral projects into the room.
The difficulty is going to be 2.
What exactly we're rolling in?
Perception. Alright, I'm gonna roll. I ain't found shit.
That worked well for me. I know something's up. I don't know what.
No, you failed to notice a thing. Norin.
See?
Roll
Yeah, roll
perception.
2.
Perception? Okay. What difficult?
2.
Okay. We're wall, wall, wall.
Right, so those of you who failed, obviously you don't notice a thing. You're just like, this is a really neat construction of this building. I wonder how they
Pretty.
managed that. Or at the very least, in the case of Norin.
Norin is just basically admiring the
Droids.
wires hanging everywhere and all the droids and shit.
And Kian's just basically kind of doing the same-ish. No, I'm impressed that they managed to do that kind of weave. I've never seen such a thing before.
I wonder if they majored in underwater basket weaving back at the academy.
Those of you who succeeded, let's see, who do we have? We had, Trekkie got the 1.
No, I got the 4.
He got the 4 in the threat. I got the 1 in the successes.
Well,
I'm sorry,
in the
advantages.
in the case of the one who got the threat in their successes, they don't particularly like you looking at them, but you do notice, both of you notice, that at the discussion of how powerful the empire is, that they're visibly very nervous and depressed. And in the case of Trekkie, you notice how particularly Cretella is nervous and depressed.
Depressed?
Actual depressed at how powerful the empire is, with what you guys mentioned.
She's the Arcanian, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Somebody in the crowd goes out, is there no way to stop the empire? Is nobody standing up to them? What happened to the Senate?
The Senate was dissolved several months ago. Shortly before the destruction of Alderaan.
Wait, so this
Technically,
is,
aren't we still
0
before that?
ABY?
No, this is just after.
Oh, okay.
What was that, our
I can never remember. I'm
Kev?
sorry.
What'd you say?
So this is just after Yavin?
Yeah, it's after him. Yavin.
Okay.
The sound, at the mention of Alderaan being destroyed, the crowd just now is just, really worried. What do you mean Alderaan was destroyed?
There are a lot of rumors, but this is one particular case where I did stick my nose where it probably shouldn't have belonged. And from what I gather, the Empire built a super weapon that the Rebel Alliance calls the Death Star. And Alderaan is an asteroid field now.
Lots of murmuring now. Someone calls out, who's the Rebel Alliance?
Well, like I said, there are some pockets of resistance, and the Rebel Alliance is the most successful one.
They seem to find that to be of some interest, but they don't appear to be getting very hopeful in general.
In fact, they managed to destroy this Death Star.
They still don't seem very hopeful. Well, just the entire discussion is apparently very, really made them nervous and even more depressed.
Clearly.
The captain brings the attention back to him. So what did you actually expect to find? I know you mentioned that Riam sent you find technology, but is that truly what you expected to find?
Honestly, yes. We expected to find salvage, probably not whole technology, potentially data files that could be recovered. We didn't expect to find the ship in such particular order. which, by the way, we're pretty positive we can fix it.
They all look at you very dubiously at that one.
We've already got partial systems online.
That hasn't happened yet. That will take place at a later time.
We do still have partial systems online. Remember, we ran power into it.
Well, sure.
But we did not expect to find survivors. But after we moved the aft end of the ship, and then we discovered what I'm assuming was your initial camp, once we got everything set up at our base camp, we were going to come look for survivors, because it was very clear that at the very least some point you guys were here. But now it's also very clear that you're not dead.
Who's Riam? You mentioned him. What's his interest?
Who's he the son of? I keep forgetting these names. I keep forgetting to write them. He's Ropok's son.
And your guess is as good as ours.
Yeah, that's about all we know. We don't even really know who Ropok was. So you know more about that than we do.
Son of Ropok? Is there any way we could possibly get a deal to get out of here? I'll give you anything that I have. And you hear a lot of this suddenly crop up. There's several of them that are asking if they could kind of negotiate some kind of deal to be removed off the planet.
Arga just kind of raises his hand to calm everyone down and goes, "We were planning on taking you anyway, if you wanted to come."
Harsel cuts everybody off at that point. It's like, such discussions should be handled by me and Kratalo. We will take care of this. I think at this time we should adjourn to just Kratala and myself. And we will have this discussion, and we will let you know what we have worked out. The rest of you should go home. So at that point, the others, as much as they don't want to, are clearly used to this, so they, get up and start ambling out of the, I don't know, theater. I guess it'd be a theater.
But as close as at the meeting hall.
Town hall?
Kinda, I guess, yeah. I didn't expect that to happen. Let me move that damn thing out of the way.
The hell?
I flicked it.
Norn's drunk.
Ooh, what's
How about
this
my junk in my
droid
trunk?
tool?
You're not drunk.
Once.
Doesn't do anything.
Like, it's something else. I don't know what exactly it does, but it's not to actually remove anything. It's probably to link it to like an animation or something.
Interesting.
Which we do have some animated things now.
Yes.
Neat.
I just realized Kratala is represented by Samus.
Yes. That was why I was going to joke when Tade's character got distracted. I was going to joke that he noticed Kratala's backside.
Dad aft. Dad aft.
So, once everybody, ambled out, doors got closed behind them. Harsel and Kratala both start, look at you very more earnestly. So tell us in more detail. How bad is the galaxy out there?
It's broke,
That's from
yo.
Harsel. Yet you managed to get here without too much trouble.
Yeah, because we're not stupid.
I'm sorry, a bunch of things just happened, and I apparently missed it. Well, one, the wheel is neutral territory. There's actually quite a lot of neutral territory nowadays. Truth of the matter is, if you believe the Empire, things are honky-dory. If you listen in on some of the unofficial channels, they're losing a war of attrition.
Arsenal just kind of shakes his head at that. It's a repeat of the Clone Wars.
Yes, well, neither side really won that one. And it seems that everyone's doomed to repeat that history.
Kratala, noticeably is looking at Norin. Seems very interested in, well, his various components. Specifically the cybernetic ones, doesn't care about the others.
This confuses Argon, because as far as Argon knew, Arcanians were more into genetics, not cybernetics.
She's the one who asks now, what about the state of affairs when it comes to cybernetics? I see you have quite a few items on you.
Well,
and I'm assuming that you only know about cybernetics in regards to what's been installed on you.
oh, no, more than that. I'm a bit of an enthusiast.
Well, there's also the rumors about Vader.
Both of them pause. Vader? What's a Vader?
Emperor Palpatine's...
And they interrupt. Emperor?
It is called an empire.
They're like, Palpatine's still alive?
Yes.
Kratala just shakes it off, though, and focuses once again back on Norin.
But Vader is Palpatine's enforcer, is what most people call him. And rumor has it, although this is rumor, nobody knows for sure, especially considering how high-ranking he is, that he's either a robot or a cyborg. There are very few public appearances of him, and in all of them, well, he's in a full body suit and clearly uses a respirator.
Kratala just continues to look at Norin. It's like, how extensive are these cybernetics?
Well, I've got 2 arms. Well, I've got 2 arms.
Do not make me stun you.
No, I just like talk about my parts.
Yes, well, let's keep some secrets. Let's keep some secrets. If you'd like to know more about cybernetics, it's...
Click here.
Click here! Desire to know more intensifies. Fact of the matter is, if it's entirely possible to replace most of a person's body with cybernetics now and you wouldn't know.
She waves it off. That's always been the case. But these look much more impressive than I would have expected.
Well,
Mm.
Not as good as they could be, but still impressive.
Fun rhymes with fun.
I did get them from quite the source.
Does he have an off button?
I can
Well, I
find
mean,
one.
it's his character to be like excited about this.
I mean, is he cybernetic enough that I could put a restraining bolt on him?
Well, like most, he does have a reboot switch, but you have to get in the right position to hit him there.
I'm gonna.
I mean, he does have a cybernetic brain implant.
I'm gonna assume it's where Data's is.
No, I'm thinking more Robin Williams in this instance.
I know what
Hit him
movie.
Hit him in the boys, and that's the reset button.
The what?
See, the funny thing is, I was thinking, please don't go the way of Chobits, and apparently you went the same direction regardless.
Oh no, I went off of his stand-up.
Do you ever read or watch Chobits?
No.
They're basically personal computers, but they're androids, and the main one, well, her on and off switch is in there. And of course,
Where?
in the vajayjay.
Oh God.
In the J.J. Abrams?
Yes. And it's literally stated in like the final episode, last chapter, that you can never be that intimate with her because you just shut her off.
Well, I mean, she'll either be turned on or turned off.
Repeatedly.
You shut up. That was a bad joke.
Resetting my buttons.
Anyway,
Thank you for accepting the user terms of acceptance.
God damn it.
Please download updates.
anyway, this really isn't the time or place for a discussion about cybernetics.
Yeah, do you want to get off this fucking planet or not?
Well, I've got quite the lab here. I'd love to actually show you around at my lab. And she's specifically looking at Norin. Probably not in that manner of, I want to get closer to you. But more
I need an adult.
I'll be right back. There's fireworks going off. My dogs are freaking the fuck out.
Basically, when she says that, Norin's cybernetic eyes seemingly sparkle.
This kid is going to die. Norin, I need you to, sign this. Argon just pulls a data pad out of nowhere and hands it to him.
What is this?
In case of your untimely deactivation, I am entitled to all your worldly possessions.
Okay, whatever. He signs it.
Jeez.
Because he doesn't plan on dying anytime soon.
I have an automatic reboot system in place. Unfortunately, it backs him up to a previous save point, and if he goes too far back, he'll be running Windows 3.1.
That's okay, that means he can run at French Airport.
Which is where you're going to put all your ships, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Will it be flying a white flag?
Anyway, you can also ask them questions, by the way.
How long will it take you to get PAX?
Neither Harsel or Cretella really commit to that. They just kind of just.
You don't want to leave, do you?
Neither one of them again commit.
Norin whispers.
What are you hiding here?
Look, people. You are literally a bad holocom, okay? They write better holo movies than you guys pretending to hide things.
You just don't understand. That's
We
what
just
Harsel
don't
said.
care. There's a difference.
There's a difference. We just don't care.
Well, then what reason do we have to continue this discussion?
Because they probably care. And he notions to the door where everyone left. Because it's very clear you don't speak for them.
At least not anymore.
Oh, we definitely speak for them. They trust us to do the right thing by them.
Yes. All that mumbling, grumbling, and saying, hey, you've gone soft, and why are we still alive? Yeah.
Got
Trust,
us real convinced.
trust goes real far.
Hard choices have to be made to keep us safe. You yourself had just said that the Empire has destroyed an entire planet. What reason do we have to leave here? They don't know we're here.
Okay, so
Side
you
of-
don't want to leave. That's fine. It's their choice to make.
Right now, I mean, they didn't give me much more to work with that. I mean, if you have questions to ask them.
Lauren whispers in Arvin's ear and tells him to ask them about the Nexu.
We already asked him about the Nexu.
Yeah, but you just asked Harsel.
You want to know why you should leave? Because I said for now, the Outer Rim. But every single day they push further and further out. How long? Until they're here. And do you think they're going to negotiate?
The two kind of glance at each other at that. But that's still about as far as they go. They're just not going to commit. That much you can gather. At least not right this moment. There's probably going to be further discussion to be made. But probably amongst themselves. At this point, Harsel glances up at the windows. It's gotten later in the day. I believe we should,
He glances up at the windows and there's a light T-2000 staring at him. Hello there.
Well, that would certainly change things, wouldn't it?
Let's put it this way. We have the high ground. You do not.
I have the high ground!
I am the high ground.
I am the ground high.
High ground, I am.
Ground I am high.
High ground, I have the...
Okay, that's enough.
Right. We beat that horse to death real quickly.
It's just a messy puddle at this point.
Hello there.
Harsel, anyway, looks at it.
I'm not cleaning it up.
Harsel looks at the windows. It's getting late. We will continue this discussion later. In the meantime, let me escort you to some living quarters so that you can rest up.
I think we'll sleep on our ship.
I insist.
So does
So
my
do
ship.
we.
Again, I insist. Let us be good guests, good hosts. Derp.
Look, I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess you've got some defenses salvaged from the ship. I'm just gonna also go be honest and tell you that, they're not gonna stand up to my ship. My ship's on its way. You lied about there being a place to land. We're gonna stay on our ship.
There's no
And if
reason
you
for you
lie
to be...
again, we might just shoot you.
Haven't lied yet.
Yeah, you did.
There's a big clearing. You said there was no place for my ship to land.
Yes, do you really want to land your ship in a... out there where the ground is really soft? Get stuck in it? That'd be a good idea. I mean, granted, it's been a while since I've been a captain of a ship, but I'm fairly confident that getting your ship's landing struts stuck is still a significant problem. Might even rip them out.
No,
You don't have a place to land out there.
no, I'm pretty sure we'd be good. Ships can hover. Magical
Yeah, I
thing.
know.
Been around
Oh,
for
God.
4,000 or 5,000 years.
That's an awful lot of energy you'd be expending. Again,
Not
let it-
really.
Can I shoot him now, please?
No, but I'm starting to think about it.
Think faster. My trigger finger itches.
Because I'm starting to think that nobody except for the Arcanian is going to be upset if we do. I don't even think the droids would care.
We can always reprogram them anyways.
We are extending an invitation for you to stay with us. Get to know us better. He's clearly trying at, being diplomatic here. And you're not going to learn that by staying on a ship, and the other survivors here won't trust you if you stay away from them.
Well, they certainly don't trust you, and you stay here.
They have more
We're
reason to
sorry.
trust me
We
than
have to go
trust
back
you.
to the ship. We can't leave the dog unattended for too long.
Norrin basically
Well, damn.
Taps Argon on the shoulder and says, "I have an idea."
Okay, well, why don't you whisper me the idea?
He whispers and tells.
Why don't you whisper me the idea?
Like tell you when to tell.
Yes.
Like we've been doing.
Sneak.
Also, Argon now no longer like it's gonna take a lot of energy to friggin' hover.
There's something oddly satisfying about watching videos of polyurethane foam setting and drying.
Cortala,
That might be the weirdest thing I've heard today.
On Facebook, they're oddly satisfying to watch.
Cortala's like, but it would be much, much better for you to actually stay in quarters that we provide you. I really would like to show you my lab.
How about Norrin stays with you?
Anybody else get the odd feeling that him staying with her is a bad idea?
No, not at all.
Well, he's a little more alert as it comes up his implants. So it's like a double-edged sword.
Quit thinking with your implants. I know you still have a brain in there.
He kind of can't help it because he has a brain implant.
Well, gotta keep in mind too, you have to meet Riam's terms, in order to complete the deal. Now,
Which
granted,
was the tech.
Not the people.
Well, yes, but the tech is probably in that lab.
I mean, that's part of it. I mean, if you were to bring in, the survivors, maybe, any additional stuff like research data, designs, even, just Cortala, for example, Riam probably will really appreciate that. So making nice probably is not a bad idea.
Yeah, but we don't want to wake up with cyborgs.
Well, the one thing you did notice when you were walking through the crowd is that there were no cyborgs.
Yeah, but as both I and Cortala pointed out, you can totally hide that.
They all look a little too weathered and beaten down to have been made into cyborgs. Plus, the fact of the matter is, there's a significant lack of materials for that.
Powwow time.
Well, anyway, what I was just mentioning is that this could go really well with Riam if you happen to, the more that you provide and work, play nice.
Literally called out powwow time, and nobody came to the powwow.
Well, I don't have to move. I'm next to you.
I accidentally moved you.
Whatever.
Sleeping shifts. Nobody goes anywhere alone. Not even to take a piss.
It's dangerous to go alone.
Norrin just flashes his eyes affirmatively.
For some reason, I'm now picturing Tron, I can't remember what it was. It was just this little icon that would either flash yes or flash no, and now his eye is doing that.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Because it's pretty clear to me we're not going to get him to say no without having to shoot somebody, and I don't want to shoot anybody right now.
Again, Lauren flashes his eyes affirmatively.
Would you stop doing that?
He flashes his eyes saying no.
I'm going to reprogram you.
Right now, I'm actually picturing the scene from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure where he goes, yes, 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 no, 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 no.
So, what all did we recover from the ship then, as far as data goes?
Not
Not
much
much.
yet, because we haven't had a chance.
Oh,
There really wasn't much in the way of any useful data.
so we really haven't actually done anything that we were supposed to yet. Other
You
than buy the
acquired a
ship, really.
Nexu.
Hey, Norin, you got a built-in comlink?
Yes, he has a built-in comlink in his brain implant.
What are you guys doing?
Sleeping shifts.
So you take him up on their offer.
I guess we can play nice, but something obviously isn't right here.
Yes, quite. But we're also very heavily armed.
Very.
Well, Harsel and escort you to a room. Honestly, all this is that he just takes you to a room in the living quarters, and I'm assuming it's part of this building.
It's a shack.
No, meeting hall was one side. So basically, so if you look at that map that was sent to you earlier, you go from the meeting hall down to where there's some little huts and takes you to one of the living quarters there.
Ah, that's an interesting hangar I can see up there on top of the ridge.
At this point, I don't know if that exists. I haven't gotten to that point in the PDF.
I'm going to assume it probably does.
Depends on if that actually comes up in the discussion. We'll see.
I'm going to just go out on a limb here and say that Harsel doesn't let anybody up there. There's probably a ship that could take people away.
Yeah, honestly, that was my assumption, but, I mean, we haven't been there, so we don't know.
So Norns is like, I want to see this lab of theirs, though.
Nobody goes anywhere alone.
Alright, well, someone come with me.
Well,
Later.
Alright, later we can all go.
Anyway, so yeah, he took you to the living quarters. You guys are now by yourselves. Harsel took IT3 with him.
Fine by me.
Hey, do we still have him wired for, Well, what the fuck did we do to him?
Got him shut down.
He has a comm jammer in him.
Yeah, he has a comm jammer, and couldn't we also fairly easily use that to, I don't know,
Eavesdrop?
It's a jammer. That means that it's
a jammer built out of a comlink.
But it's specifically been created to jam signals. It's not made to pick up signals anymore. So you broke it for its original purpose. Plus, now you can't actually reach out and touch him to fix that now. So
no.
And 1 second.
I'm just going to assume that the Sub Rosa is circling about half a click out like a vulture.
You can just imagine the engine roaring like a vulture cawing.
We need to get that fixed.
All right, so
Dude, I paid like 300 credits for that muffler.
It's a
You need to
custom
get a
muffler.
refund.
So yeah, you guys have, your discussion. The discussions didn't go great, obviously.
I don't know what Nillian's doing, but she's doing something.
Me? I would never.
Should not have left the next one attended, sir.
Did you lock your door?
Of course. There's nothing to say that she can't slice into it, though. She can at least try. Just keep in mind that it was a door to the room of a slicer, so it's going to be difficult.
All right, so you guys, you're in the living quarters, and now you've kind of gone over things. You see, there's people. You pretty much have. You guys basically already said you want to take them back, but you want to be absolutely certain.
Well, at this point, we're gonna take them back. It's their decision, not ours.
I'm being asked questions off the side.
So there's side questions.
There's been side questions.
Side questions.
So, quick rundown here.
For fuck's sake!
Lots of advantage, but no success. You can't win for losing, but you can't lose for winning.
And Wolfie, you finally succeeded at what you were trying to do.
He found some shit.
So, as of right now, you already know that you guys are just kind of waiting. It's overnight. It was later in the day by this point. So it's gonna be, wait until overnight. You're not doing anything else. No one's approaching you, or at least no one's outright avoiding you as you wander about.
In groups, back to back. Diamond formation.
Yes.
It's just like
Oh, fuck, that's where I was going with this. Never mind.
Ghost Recon Future Soldier.
I was going to go with Charlie's Angels, but sure.
Well, you triumphed at nothing.
That explains my life.
No, I was referring to Kev's roll.
That gives you a bonus, but that's about it.
Well, I can at least try again, right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any
Failure.
failures. Well, there we go.
Did you roll your bonus with that?
Oh, I didn't roll the bonus. No. So let's skip
I
that.
would not at this point, simply because you might fail now.
Yeah, true.
Just hold on to that triumph.
Yep.
I'm gonna send out the repaired remote droid to try to scout the survivors' campsite or whatever it is.
Oh, okay. I think since you're basically kind of controlling it with very minimal programming, and it swishes away. Wish, wish, wish. Everybody's doing these side things.
I'm coordinating.
He's doing what a good captain should.
So are we in the
I'm
guest?
coordinating too.
Are we in the guest quarters directly across from the brig?
No, you're in the living quarters.
If you look at the map, there's a guest quarters.
You're in the living quarters.
Okay. What all did we see on the way to the living quarters?
Well, you went from the meeting hall to the living quarters. Now, if you want to tour the place, you're certainly welcome to do so.
Well, what I'm asking what we would have saw. Okay, which gate did we come in through?
West Gate.
West gate.
I know the picture only shows one gate, but apparently there's more than one.
I'm gonna assume it's between the large and small one on the far side. Actually, no, it'd have to be. Yeah, I see. I think I got an idea where it is. Between the Nexube cage and supplies. Okay. So we're allowed to wander around. It's Argon.
Yes.
Hmm. I'm gonna do a perception roll. See if anything that is of particular tactical interest.
Okay.
Stack into vigilance.
And Nora will do the same. As he gets a bonus to vigilance perception with his eyes.
So difficulty.
So you're just kind of looking around. I mean, you are looking for things of potential tactical significance, so I'd say that's just an average difficulty, so 2.
So it's vigilance or perception?
Perception.
Yeah, perception. You're just looking.
I'm continuing a joke that I was stacking vigilance all the way up here.
So 2 difficulty?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so let's see. You're touring the settlement. Now, are you doing this? You're going to wait till morning, or are you doing this now?
Probably now.
Yeah,
Definitely
because we need to
now.
be sure what we're getting into before we sleep.
Even then, we're going to sleep in shifts. To snore, to wake.
All right, so as you're kind of, wandering about, there's some folks are not willing to avoid you completely. They just certainly curious.
Argon pulls a neon sign out, sits it on top of his head, that says, "Please ask questions."
They wonder where you're getting the power supply for that.
My magnetic personality spins a little turbine.
I just suddenly have a picture of a little hamster running in a, on a wheel, powering the thing.
Magnets,
And
how
it's
do they
named
work?
personality. It's named magnetic personality.
Magnets, how do they work?
Anyway, so you're wandering around, and the Cortala's not there to show you around, but that'll eventually happen, I imagine. And you notice things like there's a Nexu cage, so that kind of answers the question that you had asked earlier.
Well, sort of.
Now we know where Fluffles came from.
Yep. Now we know that it was a good idea not to bring them.
You notice that the construction of everything is definitely a very kind of primitive and run down. And
Not really surprising.
it's definitely a hard scrabble life that they've had. They made a life of it, but it's definitely not in the greatest condition. Rust is streaked on various bits of plating that they've used. The wood, they use wood tree trunks, and some of it's rotted here and there.
The Wookiee would be at home here. We have found
Trees aren't big enough.
We have found the Wookiee a summer home.
And one of the things you notice, though, since you happen to be walking past the Nexu cage at the time, is that they are doing a feeding. There's at least one or two Nexu in there, and they release about a dozen of those bark rats, which ran roughshod over the Wookiee, the night before. And the Nexu instantly are, crouch down, and they do the little wiggle, and then they, pounce and devour the bark rats in the blink of an eye. So
Do we know if the Nexu are cybernetic or not?
these particular ones seem to be normal.
Interesting. So it appears that the ones we encountered were probably prototypes of some sort that failed.
That or these haven't been cyberized yet.
Maybe. Maybe they just ran out of parts to do so with.
I would imagine.
The thing that you do notice is, though, is that it's the battle droids that usually enter the cages.
Well,
you saw some enter, and you saw some leave.
I'm gonna go on a limb here and say no shit. Who's rolling?
Now,
I was rolling.
That's how he rolls.
Wah, wah, wah. Anyway. So we noticed the Nexu cage.
I was answering your question, sorry. Now,
passing notes.
Other things about this place, though, see enormous trees. They overhang the settlement. They do it at the ground level and on the bluff. And you've also noticed that over the years, the survivors have kind of intertwined the limbs above to create a complex weave to create a natural camouflage net. And between the bluff and the canopy, very little direct sunlight seems to get through to the floor of the settlement. Now, you specifically were looking for, excuse me, for defensive tactical stuff. You notice that they developed their defenses over the time to keep the settlement safe from wild creatures. That seems to be their primary focus. By building that settlement into that deep depression, roughly 2/3 of the perimeter is protected by a 20-meter tall bluff. And the top of that bluff is in and of itself lined with a series of, let's see, what was your successes?
Whose?
Alistair and Norm both had done it, so 3 successes and 2 successes. You hadn't also noticed that there was a series of what appears to be pretty, defunct automated blaster turrets that were pointed away from
So-
the cliff's edge.
Kev just pointed out a good idea. Why don't you import the map?
Because the map's not what's describing it.
Somebody help.
Can we import the map anyway?
First, I'd have to save it. Yada yada.
Oh, I'm gonna take a quick bite of break. Wait.
I'm gonna get some more food.
Let's see. I gotta remember which one should we use here. And we're just waiting for our Alice to get back.
Hey, so you mentioned we see those turrets, right? Or they
Mark.
do, at least.
Yeah, they did notice that there seems to be a series of defunct automated blaster turrets, but it's also regularly patrolled by survivors. And the rest of the perimeter, this part through here, is protected by a wall about 5 meters high, and there's a series of guard towers and gates along its length. You've already noticed that on the way in. To discourage predators from finding a way into the retreat via the tree limbs above, though, they've also lined the trees with various deterrents, such as spikes and foul-smelling repellents, and there's a guard who watches the canopy at all times. So clearly, their focus is mostly on making sure nothing else gets in, which, considering the nature of this planet, there's a very distinct possibility something will or has tried to get in.
There's still people walking around.
Yeah, but it's definitely getting later in the day, so they're mostly just heading back to their living quarters, except for those who have been tasked to do the patrols or stay at the guard towers. Or guard posts, I should say.
Argan waves one of them down and asks a very simple question. How many did you lose? And he sounds very, because he is genuinely concerned and curious about that number.
The man just kind of sighs. It's like too many. Lost most. What you see here is what we have left.
Don't seem right.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. And with that, he just wanders off. Other things you'd notice since you were looking for tactical things. The sentry towers, they're integrated into the perimeter wall. They're about 10 meters tall, made of stout wood poles with a sheltered open air watch station. And access into them is by a ladder from inside the wall. And you notice that there's at least one B1 battle droid sentry or survivor. And there were you see some lights kind of hanging off it, but they're rudimentary and they don't seem to work, so now they have torches instead.
I'm back.
And as for those blaster turrets, you're pretty much positive that at this point they were salvaged, and it was mostly for dealing with local wildlife. But at this point, they're it's just a visual look now. In case anybody ever shows up.
At the very least, I wonder if we can help them get their lights working.
You didn't bring your mechanic.
I'm somewhat good with mechanics.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I am as well, because, I mean, I succeeded in a mechanics check just now.
That doesn't mean much.
Well, I mean, I'm trained in it. I have 1 proficiency and 3 ability. My intellect is 4.
Yeah, he can do it. He's just not as good as Miss I Can Fix It.
Let's see, other things that you want to know that would be tactical about the gate. The gates are made of heavy timber. They're about 3 meters tall, and there's even a veneer of hull plating covering the outside of them. And it usually takes several people or droids to slide them open and closed. So they're definitely not weak gates.
Reminds me of something from Out of Walking Dead.
So you're still wandering about?
We're basically walking all the way back around to the living quarters. Doing a full circle.
Yeah, good way to scout out, figure out if there's anything suspicious. Which probably to do another perception check.
Also, I'm informed I have access to something now, Tank.
Yes, you do.
I'm gonna make use of that. What does it tell me?
By the way, was I successful in the thing I was doing on the side?
Sweet.
The thing I messaged you about.
Sweet.
I can't remember what your role was.
It was a mechanics check to
I
give
just
a
need to know
certain
what
droid.
I just need to know what you got.
ability. Oh, well, I mean, at first I got the triumph and no successes, but then I got like 3 successes and like 2 threats or something.
It's 3 successes and an advantage.
Oh, okay. Actually, yeah, it was like I had since re-rolled something else.
Well, the
Okay, I'm not sure what the purpose of what you were trying to go for is, but you succeeded.
It's basically to give the.
type it out to him. Use TeamSpeak.
I mean,
Just
you succeeded at what you were doing. It's just
double click on his name and tell him what you were doing.
he's got that already. Okay, so you wandered around. There's ladders. You also notice ladders, kind of leading up to go onto the bluff, things like that. And again, you're looking at tactical things. You did notice that that the primary source of power is a converted auxiliary backup generator. Definitely looks like it's kind of rough though. It's kind of functional, but you can see it's kind of doing that weak light thing, you kind of deal. So it's probably failed fairly often. Let's see, nearby the generator, there's like an R3 astromech droid, and there's a team of like 6 middle-aged technicians that kind of hovered around it, kind of poke at it, try to keep it going. There's also looks like somebody who's like over them as an engineer kind of guy directing them, but he looks even more ragged looking than the technicians. This is somebody who's pretty much just resigned himself to this is where he's gonna die. Another thing that you notice is that yes, indeed, there is a hangar, and it's built near the bluff's edge, made out of heavy timber, expertly camouflaged by trees, vegetation, coloration. And inside it, there's a derelict Separatist shuttle. And it clearly hasn't been messed with in years because there's, dust and moss kind of growing on it. There's just no way that thing's going to fly.
Somewhere a bounty hunter speaks up.
I can fix that.
If you have the parts, that's the problem. They don't have the parts.
I can make some.
With the way your rolls have been, I wouldn't put it past you.
Hey,
I'm
Deesh.
sure we could demolish the entire camp to fix that shuttle.
Deesh, we brought you a tree. I'm gonna build a fusion reactor. She's gonna be like that doctor from Killing and Tile.
You mean the professor?
Professor, yeah.
Right, let's build us a reactor.
He could build a radio
I
out
really
of a
want to see that
coconut,
happen
but he
now.
couldn't fix a hole in a boat.
I remember that. I was thinking about that. Burke.
Dirk.
Answering what
Dirk.
Kevin's trying to do here. Let's see what we got here.
Don't do it's a trap.
I thought it was a tarp.
No, you're a tarp.
Terp.
Thank
It's a
I thought
tarp.
it was carps.
Magic carp?
I'm gonna flare around. It's not effective at all. Jesus Christ, Facebook.
Okay, so. Let's see, I'm trying to see other things that you would have picked up on. There's a medical shack nearby. It's very primitive, obviously, like everything else. There's definitely medical equipment in it, probably salvaged from the starship itself. There's a worn but functional medical droid in there and a complete medical database. But as of right now, there's no power to it, so it's been shut down, and there's very little in the way of supplies beyond what derivatives they managed to create out of local flora.
Yeah, since I have no idea what Deesh is doing, I'd just like to imagine that the rolls are her torturing Yigir.
Incoherent screams sound in the background.
Whee!
Okay, again, distracted.
You're fired.
There's always you also notice that for the living quarters, there's definitely always people there. They're just kind of mostly using it at night, as you guys are wandering. There's a metal and wood structure holds most of their vital supplies. Again, a good portion of them were probably salvaged from the ship itself. Most, though, were pretty much built, gathered, whatnot, and stored for the use. You also notice that that building is the most heavily guarded.
What building?
The supplies building on the map.
Oh. Oh my god, I didn't see that right there. Jesus.
Well,
Supplies,
that
motherfucker.
honestly makes sense. It Want to make sure nobody was taking more rations than they needed.
Scan the shit out of it.
I like how the guest quarters are right across from the brig.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's kind of suspicious.
Okay, Argan.
Good thing we're not there.
Argan's gonna give it a good once over, and then another once over using his toy.
Okay.
Well then.
And yeah, and I'll assist as well with my enhanced vision.
Scanning the supplies building.
Yeah.
Just
Well, we're doing a look around, so we're not gonna look suspicious.
That's just a normal 2 difficulty.
Yeah.
Okay.
1 moment, Nillian.
Okay, I'm gonna roll now. I don't know shit.
You scanned it, and you know it's a thing. That's a building.
It's a building over there, Norin.
It's got stuff.
And then what does Norin see?
No, Norn sees the same thing. There's, droids walking around. You do notice, though, that there are some like salvaged keypads and locks, but it appears that they failed some time ago. The droids take note of you and start to approach you, telling you you need to back away.
Norin nods and just says, "Roger, Roger."
It was Roger.
Argan's just like, well, that's suspicious. Just walks off.
But then Norin tells him what he saw.
Okay. You know how to do that.
Okay, got back to answer Nillian's question here.
I heard the dice and I was like, what the hell is that noise?
All right, well, there you go.
You are successfully threatened.
Or I threatened successfully.
Did she activate her taunt?
You activated my trap card.
Of course, for her to activate a taunt, all she has to do is look at him.
What if she was taunted? Then they'd be doubly taunted.
Well, that awkward moment when you start watching a video on Facebook and they go, wait, I'm streaming.
Yeah, I've done that before.
Oops.
Sorry, hip-hop stormtroopers, you're gonna have to wait.
They don't have to, though.
So everybody give me these side things, and I know I got to keep you guys busy, but it's like I can't keep moving here at the rate we're going.
I'm listening to James Darren right now, so you're all good. Jesus fuck, phone.
Wolfie, you successfully scanned. You found nothing.
Scan the scanning to scan while you scan the scanning scan.
Okay, other things that you discover. You do happen to pass the lab that was near the medical shack, but you figured it's probably not a good idea to go into that right
Med
now.
check.
You also noticed that you did find a garage. It's not very useful at this point, though. There's like 3 old speeder bikes in it, but they don't work anymore. There's a lot of random parts and tools in there. Problem is that with those tools, they don't work for Jack, even if you could power them up. There's a Ninan is in there. I think that's how you pronounce it. Ninan? Something like that. He's an Aqualish engineer and a mechanic.
Yeah, the way you're saying that, I was imagining a Pop-Tart with a cat head.
What?
Yin Yan cat?
Oh, Nyan?
Anyway, you see that leaving the garage is that engineer. There's a few others who are with him, and there's a heavily repaired astromech droid. The Aqualish is definitely an older survivor, though. He's not very fast, and you pretty much can take a guess that it's the people who assist him who do most of the actual hard work, or any of the work for that matter. There does seem to be looks like he lives there, so that's definitely his place of residence. The largest structure you saw, besides the meeting hall, there's the HQ building, but you haven't gotten into it. Mostly, though, that's mostly where they go for their meetings and such. So that whole big building in the center.
Sorry, I gotta share this.
Oh my god.
Triggered.
Yes.
Duras.
That moment when Laugher GTFO on Facebook puts, anybody else having trouble uploading dick pics to Christian Mingle?
Oh. Anyways, another thing you notice that looks like a droid shop, which makes sense. They're still trying to keep these droids working. There's several droids there, various types, and they're in a state, various states of rebuilding or disrepair at the various workstations within it. No one's really trying to stop you guys from, checking things out outside of the supplies and possibly HQ.
Now we're probably once we do the roundabout, we're just going to head back to the living quarters.
I was just taking a quick look to see if there's anything else to cover. Apparently, there's nothing about the brigand guest quarters, so who knows? That may not actually be a part of this.
Da, da, da.
And quickly reading up on stuff. As a matter of fact, so you go back to the living quarters, right?
Are we in the guest quarters or living quarters?
Living quarters.
Living quarters.
Okay, that's good.
We're going to be wherever the hell we want to.
So, stay the night. And Kev, your little thing, yep, you set that up. You don't notice anything. So, morning comes, and Kratala pays you a visit. And again, she says she wants to give you a tour of the lab, so she's going to take you there. She also asks if is anything you would like to see here.
Well, we walked around, looked at things. Apparently, you're very particular about your supplies, but no, we're fine.
Well, that should go without saying, shouldn't it?
No, I actually agree.
It's the proper way to run things.
So she takes you to the lab. And you notice that it's pretty much the only building that has consistent power. That's the first thing you notice. And go ahead and make a perception check.
Difficulty?
Difficulty's average. So 2.
How?
Rip.
Tricky got 3
Picture for you.
successes and that's right.
Tade,
Uh-huh.
make a perception check.
Okay. Difficulty.
2.
Okay.
Pay attention.
That's the problem. That's a,
Does he get a challenge die for not
difficult
paying attention to the game?
No, but if he gets enough failures, he's going to walk into the door.
Ah!
Right, so Argon doesn't notice much. Matter of fact, he notices nothing. And he barks his shin on something. Because, failed to notice.
Failed to launch.
For the rest of you, though, the things you notice that is that while the majority of the work there seems to focus on cybernetics, there's other survivors also working there, specifically focusing on their major problems like treatment methods, cures for local maladies, analyzing local animals and plants, to use as food or other aids.
Are you guys low on medical supplies?
They all just kind of look at you like, duh.
Would you like for us to go get you some? We have some on the ship.
They all kind of look at each other, look back to you a little bit more hopeful, but like they're wary. They don't want to just, take from you guys. At least not, not at this particular moment. One of them is like, we should leave that to Katala and Harsel to decide.
Well, one's there.
Katala's like, we'll come back to that. We have more to discuss. And she continues the tour there. Things you'll see, though, at least those of you notice things. Apparently, Argon's too busy going, damn, I barked the shit out of myself.
Actually, Argon's pretty interested in the... Oh, by the way, I need to do... We had a night's rest, so my wounds are going back to
Yeah, everybody's wounds and strains back to normal.
Argan's now, and it's like, they really like to put the well-being of these people off to talk about other things.
Let's see. Things that you know, other things you noticed that at least those who did notice, there's a FX series medical droid that's present in the surgery room, and you also notice it doesn't seem to ever leave the surgery room.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? There was.
You know,
He wants. Chucky wants to know if the FX is the stationary one.
they just say that it doesn't seem to be allowed out of there, so it's probably not the stationary version.
Again, repeat.
It's the FX is not the stationary version. It's mobile, but it doesn't seem to ever be allowed to leave.
Before that, what all was seen, that's what I was saying, and then I couldn't hear because there was static, and then Nillian asked her question, and you kept repeating her answer.
I said is that there is a salvaged FX series medical droid. That's pretty much what I said. So that's why I kept repeating it, because that's all I said.
Okay, because, all I heard was FX, and I'm sitting like, there's effects going on? They're not moving?
Yeah, they're watching the FX channel.
Bing!
Huh.
Anyway, and you notice the lab, though, is the most got power. It's probably the best structure there, but that's not saying much. I mean, it's created entirely from salvaged metal plates, and they have interior finish and electronics from the ship. So they clearly put all of their focus into this part of the building, or part of the settlement. Is there any questions you want to ask them while you're in the lab? Or, I mean, you notice that there's creatures that they're working on. Some of them are not as aggressive as Nexu, but they have been doing, looks like, some cybernetic work to them.
Well, now we know the answer to our question.
Yeah. You take a closer look at the cybernetics they're putting on these animals.
If you're even allowed to get close.
Well, no, I'll ask them about what sort of cybernetics work they're doing.
With friends. No.
Say again, you kind of faded out there.
I'll ask them about what kind of cybernetic work they're doing.
Cortala's rather pleased with herself as she answers. All original. Go ahead and make another perception check.
A perception? Okay. Two successes, one threat.
Chucky wants to know if all of them are making checks.
Swear to cake. I will flip this table.
We'll find a way. Yeah, Tricky, if you want to go ahead. Same for you, Tade.
Damn it! Wrong button. Fucking Christ. What? Again, I'm sorry. I was busy tailing something.
Perception. Make the roll that you made before.
Chucky got one advantage.
Two success, one threat.
Okay, well, cybernetic stuff is clearly not Erica's forte, nor is it really Argan's forte. But in the case of Tade and, well, Kian and Norin, you notice that that of the cybernetics that are there's definitely very unique and innovative designs being worked on here.
Again, Norin's cybernetic eyes seem to sparkle somehow.
You do notice, if you think back now, that some of the survivors, those who look like they'd may have suffered from the worst of injuries or a disease, have had some assistance in that area in order to, stay alive.
Interesting.
One of the things you noticed, let's see, what was your successes again? You had
Me?
2 successes?
Yeah, I had 2.
I had 2 successes. Or out of
Yeah,
2.
you both did.
I noticed stuff.
Things!
The things that you basically notice, though, is that not only they're unique and innovative, that there seems to be something more to it. So, like, you're in the presence of somebody who's a genius and has a lot of knowledge that is probably no longer available. But that's about all you can pick up out of that.
I haven't seen work like this in, like, ever. That's pretty good shit.
He hasn't seen work like that since he did it to himself.
Like, she's very pleased. Well, why, thank you. I would certainly be willing to offer prototype units in exchange for any new equipment or supplies, but, well,
We lost an alien.
considering the nature of our area here, it's a very primitive to do some real work. So some of my solutions are not the best they could be.
Well, I mean,
User
I
entered
bet
your
we could
channel.
work something out, like, once we get you back to civilization.
Yeah, according to... I'm gonna fucking write down some names. Give me
Parcel.
not Harsel, the other guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to write it down here. It's probably going... I don't want to create a 3D text object.
User in your channel timed out.
Well, that makes it as a vector. Probably better off using a note card. I can summon you a note card.
Do so.
Who timed out?
Million.
I did.
Is this time for you to go to timeout?
I'm probably gonna have to take off in a few minutes, so I guess Asshole's gonna have to go into a recharge cycle.
Or be controlled as he always has been, because he is still technically also an NPC. Alright, what's the other guy's name?
There's Riam. He's the one who hired you. Harsel is the captain here. Ropak is Riam's father.
Whenever I think of Realm, I think like a car speeding by or something like that.
Riam.
Exactly.
Riam.
I'm gonna go ahead and go. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.
There we go.
We're gonna
Still
probably
the
wrap up
pizza.
here.
Yeah, are we gonna do a session tomorrow?
Probably not.
Why not?
I won't be here.
Why not?
Because we hate you.
Well, I know that. Well, I am free Monday.
Neilian
Monday.
said, Neilian said
What?
she wouldn't be available on Monday, but
Yeah, I work till 6, but I could in theory join you after. Oh wait, no I can't, just kidding.
User disconnected
well, they can still
from your
leave
channel.
Trekkie, Tade. I don't know. Do you work Monday?
Me?
Yes.
9.
So Trekkie, Tade, Alistair, Kev,
Yeah, I'm unemployed.
and we don't know about Roland, but that'd be enough. We could probably run something Monday.
Yeah, we have no idea what Roland does.
Boy Scouts, and that's about it.
Oh my!
Not that kind of doing Boy Scouts.
Yeah, I was about to say.
You didn't clarify.
We don't know if he's Catholic.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's not Catholic.
We know he does something with
Trekkie
computers.
says he hangs out with us. He can't be Catholic.
Fair statement.
No, hard to argue that one.
Anyway.
Anyway, so you guys.
By the way, I tied the chicken to Yav.
You tied the chicken to him?
Yeah, like with a little leash. It's a guard chicken.
Yab is not impressed.
It has an explosive attached to it still.
Yab is also a little concerned.
He better fucking be.
He's got a chicken on a leash with an explosive on his back, staring him down.
Well, he's tied up and probably strapped to something.
While I tinker with
Giggity.
things.
He's just not having a good day. Really, he isn't.
Well, he's lost 2 ships, his entire crew.
He almost died himself.
They got better.
Just not a good day.
Oh, yeah, anyway. So, yeah, she's very, very pleased that you notice that, she's got, does some really good work. It's like, and she points out this. Oh, yes, I've got plenty of designs. If I had more resources available to me, I could certainly do a whole lot more. But you can see what I've done with what I've got. And my droid, and she points to the one that's in the surgical unit, has even more of my designs. Naturally, I keep it secured here.
Well, Roblox kid, did mention something about a facility that he wanted us to take the assets to, so I imagine it's probably well suited for what you would want to do. And I imagine he'd like having the actual proprietary brain behind the designs more than the designs themselves.
She seems to come up a little short. Like, she's not against the idea. She doesn't want to say anything outright.
If it was any more obvious that these guys aren't all there, there would be a neon sign powered by a magnetic personality.
I have
Well,
trying to figure out
at
where you
least
pulled
we
that
seem
sign
to
from.
have convinced her, but she's probably just not saying anything. Got a fear of parcel getting in the way.
Well, this is more. You can pretty much conjecture out of this point that the reason why they aren't just jumping all over themselves to, leave, is because they still have some significant concerns. Especially consider what you told about the Empire.
Some bitch is hiding something. I just know it.
Yeah, like this can't just be, oh, we're scared of the Empire.
Everybody's scared of the Empire.
Yeah, because we already told them, there's no way to escape it, especially if you're sitting ducks like this. You're gonna get hit worse by it.
Now, all of you are together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure.
We did say
I
nobody
don't
goes
like
home.
where this is going.
Some of the things that you notice as you were traveling is that the crew and survivors are a very diverse mix. You have Arcanians, Aqualish, Gossams, Twi'leks, and a whole bunch of them. Although age-wise, they pretty much from the late 40s on up.
I've been here a while.
No children that have been born afterwards.
It doesn't appear to be the case.
None. Not even one.
I have doubts.
Pretty sure that an Aqualish and a Gossam DNA just doesn't mix.
But the
Really,
Arcanians and the Twi'leks and other species of the same type.
Or like species two different people of the same species.
Okay, so we have a good idea. How many people are here?
There are about
About 30, I think.
Yep, that's how many have pretty much survived to the present day.
Yeah, I think between 30 people, there's got to be at least one kid.
Apparently they've been too busy just trying to survive.
Shit.
You know, I always thought Arcadians were more into genetics than cybernetics. That's Argan saying it this time, not me.
Oh, well, most of them lean that way. I just have different interests.
I can respect that.
You like anything that's shiny and cybernetic.
I resemble that statement.
Yes, you do.
Well, all the same, you can't blame me for wanting to stay clear of the Empire.
I don't blame anybody for wanting to stay clear of the Empire.
Yes, but I do have a rather personal stake in the matter.
I was getting
all
ready to
things
ask
considered,
if
though,
you
if you
had
stay here, you're
something.
sitting ducks.
Did you ever get my message the other day about I wanted to have Argan search for names?
Apparently I did not.
Well, dang it.
What in tarnation?
I was going to have that involved where he was doing the whole, researching where they were going, but I had forgotten it at the time, and I want to know if he would be okay with it, or if it would have been metagaming, so...
So he's kicking ass and taking names.
Spot check!
So I guess you could say he's kicking ass and taking names.
I'll kick your ass, but you can keep your name.
Well, thanks.
I need something to insult you by later.
Well, she kind of continues on. The Empire did try to abduct me at one point, along with my entire department, which most are still alive to this day here.
It was the
Why do I
Republic.
feel like they got some
I'm-
experiments going on?
I'm saying this out of character. It was the Republic at the time. Well, considering what we know now about the then Chancellor, I'm not surprised.
Well,
Hell,
if it wasn't
if
for
the rumors about Vader are true,
it would be most fascinating to see what cybernetics he has.
yes, well, if the rumors are true, we're probably lucky he didn't actually acquire you.
Most likely. If it wasn't for my friendship, though, with Captain Harsel, I certainly wouldn't be here today.
You do know you're not going to be safe here, right?
Even another day of being safe is better than potentially being captured, or that's at least how Harsel tends to believe it to be.
I'm not sure
Didn't ask Harsel now, did we?
I'm not sure I agree with his logic on that statement.
The Imperial Exploration Corps. That's just that's all Argan's going to say.
Okay, people need to quit letting off fireworks. It's Saturday, not Tuesday. Stop.
They always start early.
Doesn't help I live in Kentucky.
Maybe they're
And they have a
celebrating
habit of doing it all
Canada Day.
fucking week.
Well, in all honesty, security is really not my forte. I focus on here to be able to continue my work as much as I can, though I would prefer to have better resources to do that with.
Well,
However,
if
I'm
you get
almost
out of here,
positive.
you will.
I'm almost positive, though, that should the Empire find me, they will definitely take me to the Emperor himself.
So don't let them.
She seems kind of flustered and decides makes a decision that she doesn't want to speak more on that matter, or at least not right now. I think we should discuss that possibly a little later. I need time to think about this.
If nothing else, know that there are a lot of places in the universe where you can hide. A lot of places the Empire does not go.
She considers that and just gives a single nod. Well, if there's nothing else you wish to see, I can take you back to the living quarters, or see if there's something specific I need to take you to. Ah, here we go. She then pauses. You certain that Riam could potentially help?
Well, he was rather open about the location of his secret facility, but considering he operates on the wheel, chances are he doesn't have many, if any, Imperial entanglements.
Well, he's the son of Ropak. I would certainly hope not.
Well, if what IT says about Ropak is true, chances are he has as much reason to hate the Empire as any of us.
At that moment, Harsel walks in with IT3 following. And he definitely looks a little wary and suspicious. And Kratala turns to him. I really think that maybe we should take them up on their offer. What better time do we have than now to leave? I mean, look at what we're living with. We don't have much to work with here. And he looks to her again, still suspicious, but the suspicion is just as sharp to her as it is to you guys. So make a charm or deception check, because you're going to try to gain his approval.
Did someone say make a charm check?
Yes, I did.
Yes, bitch.
Difficulty?
Let's see. Charm would be against. Do.
Do we all make this check?
Oh, whoever's going to try to make the charm.
It's
Well,
instead of charming or deceiving him, can I try and coerce him?
It's probably not a good idea. You could, but I wouldn't recommend it.
I gain an automatic advantage.
You also will have probably get an automatic challenge dice instead. That would be that would be a hard difficulty. So 3.
For what? The charm /
Charm.
deception?
Mm-hmm.
Who's rolling this?
Well,
Whoever wants to
you
try to charm him.
supposedly have
All right.
charm, don't you?
We.
You're not really rolling well, man. 2
Oh my
successes, 4 threat.
god.
Yeah, you're literally just hitting roll and going.
You really need to click it many times, man.
Like this.
Okay.
Watch if he fails. Like that.
Well, I wasn't rolling for roll. I was rolling for example.
I know, but it's still amusing that it didn't do so great still. Well, anyway, you still got 2 successes. So, charm him.
How you doing?
No, you gotta do it. How you doing?
Wait, don't you get a bonus to charm for your pheromones?
I don't remember.
It would make sense.
And I'm pretty sure that you do, but you'd have to double check that. And Falleen were not in the core book, were they?
No.
Do you remember which one you got it out of?
I think it's from that one
wait a minute.
website.
I think it's from the website. Do not have bookmarked.
Just go to Kane Rath's site.
Yeah, that one.
Damn it! I fucking fudges. Is that Kane Rath?
Yeah, but the only thing that's in there is just the stats. Doesn't state any of the details.
No,
Except
it tells
for-
you what book it's in, though.
I just was getting to that. Jeez.
Jesus Christ on a cracker.
Trekkie's grumpy when it gets late.
He's always grumpy. Doesn't have to be late. Could be early. Could be middle of the day.
He's grumpier when it's late.
I am the grump.
And fly casual. Let's take a look. Would help if I zoomed in.
Zoom.
Don't judge me.
And also, you should have said you don't need that kind of negativity in your life, Tate.
I know, right?
All right, here we go. By emitting pheromones and altering their skin color, Falleen can affect emotional states of other sentients. Once per check as an incidental, a Falleen may suffer 2 strain to upgrade the ability of a charm, deception, or negotiation check against a living sentient being within short range once. This ability has no effect on targets wearing breath masks or without respiratory systems. So yes, you could actually redo that if you want to spend the strain to upgrade the ability of your charm check.
That's actually better than a bonus die.
Well, he succeeded anyway, so he doesn't need to.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, is what I'm saying. Not this time, next time.
In the future.
It's
So-
on fire.
Harsel is, with their 4th thread, Harsel's definitely not keen on the idea. He seems to be kind of warring with himself. But now you need to actually, I need to hear you charm him so I can actually work with that.
Look, bruh.
Bro. God damn it. You know, just listen to what my boss says. I might be able to throw in some stuff for you.
I'm going to say that 4th threat suddenly became 6th threat. Come on, man. This is a role-playing game. Put some effort into it.
Effort requires effort.
That's the point.
That's the point of effort.
To be fair, I don't even remember what the guy said.
I don't either.
Basically, tell him that, I don't know, say like you could probably find some rather lucrative employment back in the galaxy at large.
You know,
Riam wants the
what was your previous
technology.
profession?
That's Riam's basic thing, to take it to a secret place, whatever. That was his deal to you guys. Obviously, it's open to modification because he did say, "What the more you bring back, the better." But that's not what's going to sell Harsel here.
What was no? I'm asking Harsel what his previous profession was.
I was a captain, and clearly, I need to read up on the rest of his stuff.
You know, come back with us. There's even with the presence of the Empire, there's still some very, very lucrative freighter captain jobs out there right now. I'm sure you could find something that pays very well, especially in the Outer Rim.
It's the Outer Rim where
Well,
Empire tends not to be.
I was sending Tate a script, and he went ahead and did his own thing.
I've already done that. I've experienced the corruption of the Senate and the Republic firsthand. I made deal after deal with the senator that I served on the bridge of his own cruiser. I watched him get his own wealth and power, give himself more status. So yeah, I jumped at the chance to go try to fight for something good, make the galaxy better.
Work for yourself. That's what everybody else does now.
Well, except for the rebellion. Unless you're Han Solo. Because everybody knows Han Solo.
Isn't that guy that made the Kessel Run in like 18 parsecs?
It was 12.
Are you sure?
I thought it was 16.
Pretty sure it was 12.
I thought it was 11.
Okay, you're just crazy.
So, how are you trying to sell this to him?
Look at TeamSpeak, Tate.
I'm going to sleep, motherfuckers.
It's okay, Erica's been mostly asleep this entire time.
You know,
at this point, she's gonna have to start dressing up as Quiet from Metal Gear Solid 5.
No.
You could totally leave the Outer Rim and the core worlds behind. The unknown regions are pretty stable from what I
User
hear.
left your channel.
Not any Imperial trouble, a lot of local governments. Everybody answers to themselves. But you don't want to stay on this planet. Not by yourself.
Not even with 30 people. Even though Argon didn't get the charm, can he talk?
Yeah, he can talk. The charm, though, it's mostly coming from Tade, though.
It's like... You're a captain. Do you really want to be stuck on the ground when the Empire finally rolls up here with their expeditionary corps and they find you? It's a busted up B1s and they know exactly what you are.
As you can see, we've managed so far. Still,
an Imperial Star Destroyer is 1.2 kilometers of planetary destruction.
I'm going to tell you now, that's not going to help. Especially considering I was speaking. Your point does have merit.
I'm very rarely ever wrong.
We did try to set up things with Ropak. That was the whole point of why we were getting ready to leave. The Separatists were going to fall. I saw it coming.
You are probably right to move. But you're wrong to stay here now. If you're out there, you have a chance to go somewhere else if the Empire rolls up on you. If you're here, with only these trees and a busted up stealth-peed shuttle, there's not much you can do. Even if we manage to get that thing up and running for you, there's not enough room to carry all these people. Let alone the research and the droids and the supplies. You'd have to leave it all behind, and then what would it be worth? What would you have gained?
He's still definitely very suspicious, and I want you to guys make a perception check.
Difficulty?
Difficulty is going to be 3.
I triumphed the hell out of that nothing.
Not a thing. Nothing. Literally 0.
I got a success.
Okay, well, triumphs do count as successes, by the way.
Then I succeeded.
Okay, so with the two successes there, you notice that it's not just suspicion. It's a very deep-seated paranoia, but it's also fear, like an extremely large amount of fear that's really driving him and causing him to kind of waffle here.
Falafel?
Awful.
You know,
Waffles.
we should be more afraid of the hopeless situation you're in right now than actually going out to the galaxy at large.
If the Empire finds us, all of us will be imprisoned or wiped out for our past crimes, real or perceived.
And if they find you here, you'll be even worse off if they find you out there. If they find you out there, you have a chance to escape.
You are a captain. You're just like me. You know there's freedom in the stars. There's none down here.
No, still with the success of the charm and your guys' discussions here.
Cue one of Argon's motivations suddenly becoming a point of contention in conversation.
Of getting out into space.
Yeah, remember one of his motivations is he's obsessed with the freedom of being in space.
You do, as I said before, your point has merit. How could you be sure that Riam, though, will have our best interests? Right now, the Empire doesn't know we're here. And, on that note...
Something bad's about to happen, isn't it?
Just me, or do I smell a hyperspace jump?
Just imagining a Star Destroyer dropping on the table here in a second.
Oh, yeah, good, I wasn't the only one thinking it.
Wait for Tank to decide what he's doing.
I'm trying to see what I have available to me is what I'm doing. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So, at the moment that he said that the Empire doesn't know we're here, Still a chance that we could be fine if we stay here. Suddenly, everything around you shakes violently as the rumble of starship engines passes low over the retreat. Leaves and unsecured items shake and fall to the ground. If you rush outside, you'll see that their survivors are kind of looking at each other in horror. Some have begun to panic and rush to hide or grab their weapons.
Argon looks up to see what it was.
You catch glimpses of the ship through the tree branches as it crosses over the retreat from the side of the bluff and lands somewhere near the river. As the sound of the engines diminishes, replaced with the distinctive high-pitched squeal of multiple small repulsor lifts. Make a hard perception check.
So that's 3.
Yes.
Jesus Christ! On a pogo stick!
Wow, I failed.
You say on a pogo stick?
Yes. You know what? Hold on. No. I got access to that fucking remote. I got access to the ship's sensors. I got access to the other ship sensors.
Fuck!
Do I happen to notice these ships as well?
There.
Oh, yeah.
I added 3 boost die, and all I got was a success. The dice hate me today.
Apparently. Nillian, yeah, by all means, make a perception check.
2 difficulty?
3.
3.
Because you're trying to identify it. Good lord, people.
I'm too busy tying chickens to people.
Apparently so.
You're just playing chicken.
So, since Argon's the only one who apparently rushed out and saw it and could actually see anything, everybody else that rushed out and they're like, oh, I see trees.
That's terrific.
That said, one with the 2 failures, 2 advantages, I think that was Kev, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you did get advantage, so you will identify the sound of the speeder bikes. The one with the success. You saw that, yep, that's definitely an Imperial starship.
What class?
Let's see. Skywatcher class.
The Skywatcher?
Space scout ship.
The one that I linked a picture of earlier? Yes. Yes, that was the Skywatcher.
I was going to say, I don't remember what it was.
Because it was the one that's added for this module.
God damn it, quit looking ahead.
I found it by accident.
Anyway, yes, that's what you saw.
Well, Arga is just going to turn and look to Harsel and goes, well, they do now.
And on that note,
It is time to leave.
we shall pause there.
Bum bum bum.
Till Monday. Maybe.
It's a distinct possibility.
Clear your desk. Clear Trekky's desk. Dang it, I know I'm clicking that button.
Yeah. It's all transparent now.
I'm gonna end the stream now.